and I'm going to mute everyone, and we can get started. But you guys can always unmute yourselves if you have a question, so don't hesitate to do that. Okay, so let's get started. Just as a little bit of background for today's class, you guys probably have heard a lot about visualization before. Olympic athletes use it, coaches use it, and visualizing, let's say, your golf swing can actually really help improve your performance. So physically practicing, that'll help, but when you physically practice, you're also working on the visualization as well. So you can work directly on the visualization, and I hope we can do a little bit of that today. And what's important with visualizing the movements of your body is that you keep as clear of an image as you can. So there's no need to rush. It's giving yourself time and attention to do it. So to start, I'm hoping you guys can lie on your back. Hopefully you have the room for it. And we're gonna do a little bit of work with rotation today. So get comfortable. Maybe I will lie down as well, perhaps. And first, in your mind's eye, in your imagination, you're gonna feel your forehead. So go ahead, feel your forehead. And then draw a line mentally, a line from your forehead to your nose. And then keep going down to your chin. From your chin, keep going down to your sternum. And from your sternum down through your belly button. And then all the way down to the pubic bone. And feel that line. How clear is that line? Some parts maybe are a little fuzzier and some parts are a little clearer. And actually, guys, it's quite interesting. For example, some people, they feel like their chest is sort of sunken in a little bit, and other people feel like their chest comes out of the body. And that's part of your mental image of your body, right? So if it feels like it's sunk in, sometimes people, when you actually look at their posture, their chest is pushed out because they're trying to compensate for that image. And people who feel like their chest is puffed out, sometimes it's actually sunk in a little bit. So there's a compensation effect of how your body behaves based on its image. So while you're lying there, you felt that first line. Try to feel the line of your legs. Is your left leg, is that line the same as the line of your right leg? Sometimes one leg feels a little bit longer or thicker, heavier or lighter. Again, these are all parts of your image of yourself. You might feel that one leg is farther away from the midline of your body. And there's nothing right or wrong about that. You don't need to correct it, but those things will impact the way you move. Someone throws a ball at your head, you might be more prone to go left versus right. All because of this image. And then compare your arms. Is your left arm longer or shorter than your right arm? Or are they exactly the same? Maybe one's a little thicker or feels more cloud-like. The other one might feel a little more dense. And then there's the line of your spine. And again, that's interesting because where does your spine start and end? It might start a little higher or lower than you originally thought. And then if you compare those 5 lines, 2 arms, 2 legs, and your spine, how do they compare in terms of their length? Are they all the same length? The answer is not particularly important, but the process of you trying to feel it is important. So now, guys, draw your knees up so that your feet are flat on the floor and your knees are kind of pointing towards the ceiling. And very gently, you let your knees tilt to the left and come back to the middle. They don't have to go too far. If you feel your shoulder starts to lift off the mat, then it's a little bit too far. But do that a couple times and just get a feel for the quality of the movement, if it's smooth, if it feels nice. And then try the other side. And then try to answer for yourself, is it the same on both sides? Is one side a little bit easier or smoother or nicer in some way? You can imagine, guys, that in all of our systemic classes, when we're pushing each other, there's a lot of rotation, right? You rotate your shoulders to get away from the push. Sometimes your legs don't come along with you, so there's this type of rotation happening in your back as well. Good. Just relax now. You can lay your legs long. And then just for a moment, feel what, if anything, has changed in your contact with the floor. Do you feel like your ribs are pressing into the floor a little bit more or better supported? Any change in your shoulders or neck? So what we just did is we left the upper body alone and we moved the lower body. Now we do the opposite. So put your hands together in front of you and put them straight up. Straight up. Exactly. So your elbows are always going to stay straight and your hands can't slide. They have to stay together. And your nose is going to be aligned with your hands. So as you move your hands a little to the left, you sort of relax, let them go to the left, but the elbows stay straight. Your nose is going to stay aligned with your hands. And see where you can go. The hands don't slide, guys. The hands stay right together. So what that does is it forces your whole upper body to move. And there's going to come to a point where it's a little bit stuck. And it's up to you. You can either stop there and come back to the middle, or you can try to find a gentle way to go over that bump. Try not to do it with muscle. There might be an easy way to go over that bump. Something that comes from relaxation rather than effort. And do this many times. So we're looking for little effort, not much work at all. But as you roll, you're going to start to feel one side of the ribs lifts off the floor, the other side of the ribs presses into the floor. And you might be able to feel the vertebrae of your back twisting to allow for this movement. But make it easy. Every time you do it, should feel really smooth. It doesn't matter how far you go, but it does matter how relaxed you can do it. Because if you think about it, guys, if we do this kind of movement with some sort of tension, then, you know, it's almost, what's the point of getting punched and stuff? It's like, we need to relax even in simple things. Very good. Whenever you're done that repetition, just take a break, lie on your back. And again, feel your contact with the floor. See what you notice about the contact of your ribs. Is both shoulders flat to the floor? Does one feel a little more raised? Then guys, we'll do one more variation, and then we'll start to bring these rotations into our usual exercise. So you're gonna draw your feet up again so that they're flat on the floor. You're gonna leave your left foot where it is, and the right leg is gonna drape over your left foot. So it's like the back of your right knee is on top of your left knee. Perfect. And then very gently, guys, you start to tilt to the right. You tilt the knees to the right. And then bring them back to the middle. So this is gonna increase the amount of rotation traveling through your spine. And just get a feel for how the contact of the hips with the floor changes as you make this motion. Then guys, let the knees tilt a little bit and just hang out there for a second. So it should be a comfortable tilt. You're gonna interlace your fingers and put them behind your head. So it's sort of like there's a hammock for your head. And then you're gonna gently lift your head up to point your nose towards your left hip, and then bring it back down. You do that many times gently, without too much work. And what you might notice is that your legs fall a little bit farther with these repetitions. If you feel like you can lift your head a little higher without effort, then you can go ahead and do that as well. Because what you're doing is you're flexing and relaxing the spine while your legs are in a kind of putting your back in a rotated position. Make sure you're breathing. Good. Bring everything back to the middle. Switch your legs. And then if your fingers were interlaced one way, you just shift all the fingers so they're interlaced the opposite way. And then you tilt the opposite direction. Just a couple times to feel how that rotation travels through your spine. And then when you feel ready, you sort of leave them to the left, and then you start to flex and relax your spine using your arms to help you lift your head. And what you might find is that as you gently lift and relax the head, the knees might tend to fall a little bit closer to the floor. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Should be easy. Then guys, just relax whenever you're ready. Feel all your legs can go long, your arms can go long, and then feel your contact with the floor again. See if these movements have done anything to change how long your legs feel, how long your arms feel, or even how your spine feels. If you're doing pure visualization, that's quite difficult, right? Because sometimes it's hard to imagine what things feel like. So when you add some gentle movements, your brain gets a clearer picture of how everything is moving. And then when you check your body again, usually there's a bit higher accuracy in terms of what you feel inside. So hopefully, now that you're lying there, you have a better feeling of your spine position and just the general state of muscular tone in your body. So guys, we're going to try to bring this relaxed feeling in the spine into our exercises now. So whenever you're ready, slowly, with attention to how it feels, you're going to kind of start to stand up. Try to do it without too much work. Should feel easy. We're going to try to keep that relaxed feeling. And then feel the weight of your body in standing. And then just gently, don't strain any one muscle. You're going to start to look over one shoulder and the other, just to see how your rotation feels. And what you're trying to do, guys, is you're trying to distribute the tension. So if you feel tension in your neck, that means your neck is doing too much work. You would then add your shoulders. And then if at a certain point your back feels tight, then you need to release your hips. So what you're doing is you're always distributing effort over the maximum amount of musculature. And that's important, because if you're wrestling someone who's strong, they're going to break you where you over tense. Someone pushes on your face while you're wrestling and you leave it in your neck, it's all going to be stuck there. You got to bring your shoulder in if you can, and then bring your hips. But you got to feel it first. What type of breathing do you like when you twist? Experiment. You can twist on an inhale, and you can twist on an exhale. Try to do it slow enough so that you can feel the difference. Okay, guys. Hopefully it feels smooth and it feels easy. If not, you can experiment with it a little bit more. But now we're going to do some slow squats with rotation to see if you can retain the freedom, but under a little bit of stress. So for example, you start with your feet maybe just a little bit wider than shoulder width. And you're going to just keep rotating, but you're slowly going to squat. And you're going to see as your hip position changes, maybe you start to feel some sort of compensation or tension in the body. Keep your breathing smooth. And try to feel that freedom all the way. It's okay if the heel comes off the floor a little bit, but if you can keep them completely flat, that means you have a lot of relaxation in the body. Also means you have good ankle flexibility, but it's quite difficult for me. Anytime you need to take a break, but otherwise try to keep going. So you can imagine, guys, there's a little bit of punching in rotation, and also when you're punched, there's a little bit of rotation as well. So this is more of a diagnostic exercise for you to check if you can free yourself, first of all, when no one's even hitting you, and you're not trying to hit someone else. Good, guys. Take a break. Feels okay? Good. All right, so we do it through all of our exercises, right? So we do the same thing with body raises. So you might imagine from a sitting position, you want to look behind you, and you're slowly going to go down. You're going to keep looking behind you. Sometimes when you're sitting, you need to punch, right? And you need to receive punches. So it's nice to have some freedom in the spine in this position. check your shoulders too, guys. When you're rotating, they should still have the ability to move up, down, forward, back. Lots of freedom. Try to feel inside, guys. It's not just the movement. Try to feel each vertebrae is twisting up and down your spine. And I should mention, guys, if you feel any pain, do less. I don't want you to irritate any nerves. Just stay within your comfort. If you're kind of making your nervous system angry, then that's the opposite of what we want to do. Try to make it easy and pleasurable if possible.
How about pain in my abs?
Yeah, that doesn't count. Sorry, Chris. Although we won't go too long, because if your nervous system starts to get very noisy from fatigue, then we're doing something else. So that's good, guys. Lie down on your back. Just breathe. Feel your body. And again, feel your spine, feel your shoulders. If you feel there's some residual tension in your shoulders, maybe you were holding it during the sit-up, right? Or maybe tension in your neck. So we're going to take a break from the ab work, because we can also do leg raises, but we'll come back to that. I'm going to do a little bit with the push-up now. So push-up, we can rotate the upper body or the lower body. You can do fists if you want, or open hand, doesn't really matter. But you're going to leave your feet exactly where they are, and you're going to rotate and get close to touching the floor if you can. Just back and forth on both sides. And pay attention to your spine. Try to distribute the rotation if you can. Anytime you want to switch, guys, you can switch to your feet. So the hands stay where they are, the foot rotates. It's not so much an exercise as it is a way for you to feel your spine, right? And of course, your shoulder is moving through a full range of motion too when you rotate. So it's a couple different benefits. Good, guys. Take a break. Relax, move, breathe, whatever you like. You can get rid of any tension in the shoulders, neck, body. Very good. Go back to lying on your back. So now we do a little bit like windshield wipers. So you're gonna be on your back, legs can be straight or they can be bent. It's up to you. I'll do it with bent knees just so you can see it on the screen. This is rotation, right? I don't let my shoulder rise too much because then it's my body moves as a unit. So the shoulder stays down, and the legs go one way and the other way. If it's too easy for you, then please extend your legs. And slowly, slowly, your legs are going to go down while you're going back and forth. Try to feel the twist up your spine to the opposite shoulder. Try to make it easy work, guys. This isn't meant to give you abs of steel or anything like that. It's more for, again, making your visualization clearer. Because you're moving the spine on the inside, and your brain gets a better picture of what's happening. Make your breathing nice and easy. I should mention, guys, that your neck should be free. So as you move your legs left and right, try to pay attention, which way does your head want to point? Does it want to move with the legs or go in the opposite direction of the legs? Which one feels more natural for you? You can try both if you haven't tried already. Good, guys. Just relax. Let everything lie on the ground. Again, check how your body feels on the ground. Check your breathing. Do you feel your ribs more clearly? Because when you rotate, the ribs on one side have to spread out in order to allow the rotation. So that might mean when you feel the side of your ribs and you breathe, you may feel a little bit more movement than you were conscious of before. And then when you're ready, draw your feet up so that they're flat on the floor and your knees are kind of pointing towards the ceiling again. And make a few of those motions we did at the beginning, where you tilt your knees to the left and to the right. And just see how they feel now. Maybe it feels smoother, more controlled. So guys, next one's a bit of a challenge. If it causes you any pain on the knees or anything like that, just do any of the variations that we did before so that you can continue to practice the rotation. But it's like a reverse Nordic hand curl. So you're gonna be up on your knees. Actually, point down a little bit. And you're gonna be leaning back. You try not to overarch your back. You try not to curve it. It's in the middle, and you're looking with your body, one shoulder, the other shoulder. And you start to go down. So you're gonna feel a different type of tension in the front, but I still am hoping you feel some relaxation in your spine. And you're gonna go all the way down, or as far as you can. And then you can just come up. You don't have to struggle on your way back up, unless you really want to. But you see my hips are off the ground, guys. I'm not sitting on my heels. I'm up, and then I'm twisting. Then whenever you've had enough of that, just start to move on the ground again and feel any rotation in your spine as you move. Try to be aware of what's happening as you do your natural ground movements. Okay, great guys. Hopefully it feels, you feel more aware of your spine. That's the goal. We still have a little bit of time left. If anyone needs to run early and leave the class, no problem, go ahead. But I usually like to take the full hour, so we'll go a little bit longer. And I think it'd be nice to do a little bit of work with ankles. Because for me, when I sit at home for a long time in the quarantine, the ankles get very little work. And I think one thing we can do that ties a little bit nicely with the rotation is just some short stepping. So you're going to try to keep your heel on the ground if you can, and you're going to try to put your next foot right in front. So you're going to walk heel to toe, as low as you can, if possible. So you're going to go as close to the ground as you can, just for a couple steps. If you can do backwards, that's also great. Try not to hold your breath, guys. Keep breathing. Any tension in the neck and shoulders, get rid of it. Just 10 more seconds of this, and then we switch to something else. Okay, great. So a little bit of toe and footwork now. You're gonna go kind of on the edge, like on your tippy toes, and you're trying to do this, but with your weight. It's a very odd position. Your toes are in this extended position, and you're trying to push down. Make sure there's weight on that leg. You can imagine, guys, when you're running, right here, there's a push off, right? So it's just a way to exercise that range of the toe. You can try more of the big toe, more of the small toe. Other side. Make sure there's weight on it, and try to push. And the opposite direction, the top of the toe. Some people can walk, right on the top. You don't have to do that, but you just make sure that you have some familiarity with that kind of pressure. Then outside is a very common spraining position, right? You're running, someone sprains you, ankle takes this odd position. So you're gonna try to rock from your heel to the front, sort of like that motion, but with a little bit of weight, forward and back. Be careful that you don't put too much weight. I don't actually want anyone to sprain their ankle, but it's just to give a little bit of a novel stimulus. You can do the other side, both sides. If you like it, you can squat. Walk a little bit. inside a little bit. Be careful it doesn't put too much pressure on your knee. But if the knee feels okay, you try to get this angle. Great, guys. If you feel like it's too much, you can do both legs, but if you can do just one leg, we're gonna do just 20 heel raises. We'll do it this side, like this. Try to use your breathing. Try to hold at the top just for a moment so that you have some balance there. After you've done 20 or however many, you switch the other leg. When you're done, shake it out. Then guys, hopefully no one has shin splints or anything like that, but I'm hoping you can lift your toes off the floor while keeping your heel down. You do it with both legs and try to do 20 repetitions. Try not to like fall backwards too much when you do this. You should keep your weight over your feet. Good. Shake it out. So basically, I'm trying to just target some muscles and some positions that we don't normally get a lot if we're stuck inside. So another one that's been good for me is the adductor. So we do a little bit of these these wide squats where you go down, and you try to feel some stretch here if possible. Come up, and on the other side. See if you feel something. If it's not a stretch enough, you can put your foot farther out. You can turn the foot up as well, but find the angle where you feel a little bit of work in here. You can go left and right. Try to make it comfortable. Good, check it out. Then just a couple push-up walkouts for the shoulder extension position. Just keep going to the edge, come back. Good, guys. Same thing, but your push-up starts to go like this. Wider and wider. Whenever you've had enough, take a break, lie down on your back, and just breathe. Try to feel everything. How do your arms feel? How do your legs feel? See if there's any tension in the neck. If you find tension, guys, see if you can make some movements to get rid of it. Good, guys. Just a few more. You're going to stay on your back. What you're going to do is you're going to try to push your elbows into the floor in different positions, like this way, that way, that way, that way. And hopefully, make sure you can see, hopefully you can lift yourself just a little bit. So kind of arch your back just a little. You lift. Then you try another position. You lift. Hold it for a little while, a little wider. See if you can compress your shoulder blades together. It's sort of like, it's a little bit like a rowing motion. Try to feel it in your shoulder blades and your back, not too much in your neck. Good. Take a break. Relax everything. And again, check your body. Check your neck, the shoulders, in between the shoulder blades, down the back. See if they're relaxed enough for you. Sometimes, guys, it's so strange. You lie down on your back, you have nothing to do, but some muscles, they're still holding for no reason. It's good to be able to check if any of your muscles are doing that. Are your legs truly giving their weight to the floor? Are your arms fully supported by the floor, or is there any element of you holding them away from the floor? Is your head fully resting on the floor? Can you feel the weight of your pelvis totally relaxed? Is there anything left over in your stomach? Or is that very calm, very quiet? Then guys, on your own, just a couple times, you're gonna do a 10 count to get a full inhale and a 10 count for a full exhale. So in your own mind, you count 1, 2, 3, all the way until you maximal inhale. Then guys, gradually reduce it until you find your natural breath. And find out what your natural breath is. Is it 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out? Is it 6, 2? Everyone's different. Especially after we did so much exercise, it might be a little bit shorter. And we'll stop there, guys, because it's 8 o'clock. So take your time. There's no rush to get up. I'll unmute you all in case anyone has any questions or comments.
Thanks, Mark. That was a good class.
My pleasure.
Challenging work.
Guys. So the last one, I don't think I heard it correctly. Was it holding, I was holding, doing the full square breathing. So wanted me to do or not. I was holding twice per cycle, so it's a little hard.
No worries. You can always experiment.
Yeah, I'll be experimenting with that for sure.
Great.
Back was sore.
Everyone feel okay?
Yeah, so Mark, I've got, since I was like 18, I've had low back issues, and then my 4th and 5th lumbar are almost fused together, the vertebrae.
Okay.
It's about 95% gone. But that really, the rotational work, I mean, it really loosened up. My low back felt great at the end of it. So
Good.
really, yeah, that's stuff I can do on my own to kind of help work around, you know, my own stuff. So thank you.
I'm super glad to hear that. My low back sometimes is giving me problems too, so I feel also that it's helping me, the rotation.
And
shoulders.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I missed you.
So, hey, Mark. What I found was with all the rotational stuff that we did today, you know how you spoke about your natural breathing tempo? I found it was longer
Nice.
because it was open, much more open. I also didn't realize this, but I have a really tight right side rib rotation. So if I'm rotating to my left, this is a lot tight to the point where actually I feel some discomfort, which I didn't realize before. Now, I typically sleep on my left side, so it probably doesn't have anything to do with that. But something's going on that right side. But I noticed after doing some rotations in different types of positions, I noticed it started to loosen up a little bit as well.
That's awesome.
Now, I don't really have any low back issues, but I do notice that it does get tight. But doing this kind of work, even though it seems to challenge that part of myself, after you were asking us to lie on our backs, I felt a lot more ease in my lower back than I typically have, especially if I'm in a seated position. I always find my lower back after about 30 seconds starts to go on.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was really good work today. Thank you so much. It was a lot. It seemed like a simple thing, but it was very effective.
That's great. I'm really happy to hear that.
Thanks so much, Mark.
And sometimes work on the easy side, because it will help the other side as well.
Okay. All right. Thanks, my friend. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
It was really good. Thank you very much, Mark.
Good to see you again.
Thanks, Mark. Take care.
Thanks,
All right.
Mark. Good class.
Thank you, Peter.
Appreciate it, Mark. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right. Good night. Thanks, Mark. Have a good night, guys.